can't see me. I can see all the stuff, but I can't see my ways. I can't see my heart. So the light, which should be refracting light, right? That's what these eyes are. Eyes are prisms. Y'all know what a prism does. Prism refracts light, right? In prism, when it refracts light, a beam of white light comes through, and what comes out? Colors. Roy G. Biv comes out, right? Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, indigo. I should have asked Luther. Luther, you know Roy G. Biv, don't you? You didn't run out of Roy G. Biv yet? Well, you will right now. Red, orange, indigo, G, green, Biv, blue. No, blue, indigo, violet. The first I is... No, the first Y is yellow. I'm sorry. Red, orange, yellow. Let me go back. Red, orange, yellow, green, right, Biv, blue, indigo, violet. That's the spectrum, right? So when a white light is shined through a prism, the spectrum comes out of those 7 colors, right? Because what does the prism do? It refracts light. The eye is supposed to do that also. And many times, the eye is refracting light so that I can see everything outside of me. But what prism do I use to see that which is entering me? Well, we think that the only eye that really matters is the eye that lets me see the world. When the real eye that we need to be focused on is the eye that allows us to see ourselves. Because the truth is, the only darkness most often that's inside the light is you. We take things in, and we take things in using an eye that does not work. The prism of our eye is broken. We see things through hurt. We see things through pain. We see things through guilt, through shame, through anger, through frustration, through depression. We see life through many different spectrums. Why? Because our eye is broken. That's the bad eye, right? It's the same thing that happens when you walk to somebody and say, "Good morning," and they say, "What's good about it?" Right? Same thing that happens when you ask somebody to say, "Bless the Lord." Why? They see the world not through the goodness of God. They see the world through their own frustrations and bitterness. Y'all know y'all saw people who, y'all have seen people and know people who have no ability to get beyond their own emotional condition. You can look at them and tell them that the Word of God says, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." And ain't no joy found in it. They know nothing about joy. They know nothing about peace. They know nothing about kindness, goodness, long-suffering, gentleness. They know nothing about the fruit of the Spirit. Why? Isn't because the Spirit is not in them. It's because the prism, it's clouded in darkness. The light is trying to infiltrate the darkness, and guess what? The darkness comprehended it not. Ain't that what happened when Jesus came in the world? Right? It's John 1, right? He came and they knew him not. How in the world can the light of man walk among us and there be those who can't see him? Don't know him for who he is. I know it's true because the darkness sometimes is inside of us. The pharisaical attitude, "I know what's best. I'll live by the law." Right? Have you all ever seen the movie Les Miserables? and read the book or seen the play, right? Les Miserables is an awesome. Most often it's a musical, but it's an awesome depiction of understanding the distinctions between living according to grace and living according to the law. There was a man, Jean Valjean, who was he was arrested, falsely accused, and arrested for helping someone. He had incredible strength and can lift great sums of weight. Well, he was arrested, sent to prison, and while in prison, he met a law enforcement officer. This law enforcement officer only believed in the law. It wasn't about whether or not you did it or didn't do it. The only thing that mattered is what the law said. So even though I could have information that could free you, you've been judged by your peers, and because you've been judged by your peers, the law says you're guilty. Don't want to look at the grace of what could have been. Don't want to look in any insight toward what you are, and the fact that you're growing and becoming different. No, the only thing that matters is what the law says. The only thing that matters, what the law says. Right? Y'all know people like that? Yeah. They focus so much on the letter of the law that they can't see what God is doing. They're in darkness. But they believe that the law is their life. Well, Jean Valjean escapes from prison. He gets out and he changes his life. He becomes an aristocrat. He becomes a very affluent man. And in his affluency, he runs across the same law enforcement officer again, who initially doesn't recognize him. But this law enforcement officer can't get this guy off his mind. This guy who was wrongly imprisoned but has now escaped, some 20 years later, is still on his mind. Because guess what? The law says, gotta get him. He runs into Jean Valjean, and when he runs into Jean Valjean, he doesn't recognize him at first, but eventually he comes to know who he is, because one day someone was trapped under a great weight, and he remembered while in jail, Jean Valjean lifting this great sum of weight. I believe it was a boat. Lifted this great sum of weight, and he realized not any ordinary man can lift that much weight. Well, some 20 years later, Jean Valjean finds himself in a situation where he is trying to conceal his former identity, but someone is in trouble. And he realizes that he has the ability to free them. And guess what he does? To his own peril, he goes and he lifts this massive sum of weight to save this person's life. Guess what the law enforcement official says? It's something different about this guy. I've never seen this kind of thing before. Made him look at him differently. Check it out. His appearance had changed. His name had changed. His identity had changed. His work had changed. He was no longer a pauper and a beggar, right? As a matter of fact, I just remember why he went to jail the first time. He went to jail the first time because they said he stole bread because he was hungry. And they sentenced him to some ungodly sum of years in jail. Wow. For bread. Because why? Because the law says if you steal, there's a judgment. There's a penalty. That's what the law says. Right? So, he's found out. The law enforcement official begins to chase him. But Jean Valjean now has this young girl that he's adopted from a woman who was a prostitute. She died. And she asked Java John to take care of her daughter. He begins to take care of the daughter, and he's running and running, trying to get away from the law enforcement official, who now says, I know who you are, and the law says that you got to go to jail. You got to pay for your crime. Check it out. This man has changed. He is now of the aristocracy. He now is a man of means. He has money, lots of money. His heart has changed. He's a better man now. But that didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was he broke the law. And guess what? When you break the law, you got to pay for it. Well, the law enforcement man catches up with John Valjean while he's running toward the river Seine in France. And he's running along the side of the river, and they're fighting. John Valjean gets the jump on him and is has the right to kill him. And he can't. He won't. He frees the man, the law enforcement official. And law enforcement official says, you might as well kill me because I'm still going to come after you. And he says, no, I won't kill you. Right? He showed grace in the face of one who wanted to destroy him. Law enforcement officials continue to chase him. They find themselves by the river. And what the law enforcement official can't understand, he can't get, is why in the world did you have the jump on me and you chose to issue grace? Because the law would have said,